This guy's called the Standing Streamer.
From Wrestling with Regret, and you're watching Putting You Over.
Oh, all right. There we go. Let me just throw in my trusty headsets here. How's it going? What's going on? I am the Standing Streamer. Welcome to Putting You Over on a Sunday. This can go just a tad. We have Paislee Ford on the show tonight, independent wrestler. We're gonna learn a lot about her. I was suggested to get a hold of her and have her on the show from somebody from WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Big shout out to Steven, chatting with Steven. So I'm very interested to find out more about her. I did some research, got my questions, my notes, stay on task, and do the best I can to put her over. Let's go, Paislee. Yeah. All right, I'll go get her. Hold on. Let me hit her theme music. Excellent. Yeah, so if my girls did hear that, they're upstairs, they're all sound asleep. I wore them out tremendously. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm phenomenal. As phenomenal as one can be in the world today.
Oh gosh, I know. Everyone's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. But I do appreciate you rushing home. You're from working out or doing what you needed to do. And
yeah.
So I appreciate that for sure.
I lost all kinds of track of time, and I got here as fast as I could.
It's not a big deal at all. I was just saying I went live, and I was just doing a little like intro that I write for WrestlingNewsWorld.com, and we have a whole group Twitter DM thing, and we're talking, and I got a suggestion. I was like, hey, do you ever interview independent wrestlers? And I was like, I'll interview freaking anybody, I'm an independent podcaster, I guess. And so I was passed along your Twitter handle, and I contacted you, and I was on vacation and all that, and so I'm so interested to learn everything about you here tonight. You're going to get a live reaction of, I've done my research, but it's still not the same,
Yeah.
Um, so let's start things off here. Your love of wrestling, where did that stem from?
So actually, it's my kids that got me into it. I never watched wrestling growing up. I never did any of that. I was actually a dancer for the longest time, like a ballerina. And they are all about wrestling. So we went to a show and I looked at them and I was like, you know what? I could do that. And they were like, no, you can't. So here I am proving them wrong. And then I just fell in love with it from there.
So your kids like wrestling.
Yes. Yes, they do.
I have 3 daughters, 10, 7, and sorry, I'm out of breath now. I had to run around. I had to pod you down just a little bit. I do my stream. I don't know if you have it up on Twitch at all, but you'll see it later.
I do. I'm watching it.
I do it from behind a bar, and I have yet to figure out the best way to control all the audio. So I was like, oh, she's a little loud. I don't know if she's loud in my headphones or loud for everybody else. So I ran around and just turned it down. Anyways, a little off topic, back on topic. So my kids are 10, 7, and 3, and they love wrestling. I've always been into it, but they love it now, especially the women's wrestling. So they'll be excited that Daddy had a women wrestler on again. It's only my second. Yeah, I guess you could count Izzy as a wrestler. So I guess my second one. So that's interesting. So your first wrestling memory. So you got into wrestling later on. Like I mean, I grew up idolizing wrestling. You got in. What's your first wrestling memory? I guess is the question I'm looking at.
Well, we went to what? To Friday Night SmackDown. I had to remember what it was. Oh man, and it was just a crazy day, and so much happened there. But that was the first real thing that I did for wrestling. The boys wanted to go, and so of course that's what we did.
Got to take them, right?
Absolutely, they were so excited, and that was just the best.
Yes. We see some people in the chat here following along. So if anyone in the chat has a question, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to probably miss the question altogether and never ask it until afterwards. Or I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to ask her this. As far as, and this is going to lead right into what you're doing currently. Who inspires you in wrestling? Whether it's somebody maybe from the past, if you've gone back and watched things, or inspires you now, somebody working now?
Well, honestly, I would probably say Sasha Banks, and that kind of goes into some more of where I started out. That she actually trained at the same place where I had started. So that was really neat. So just seeing, kind of where she's went from where she started, it's just amazing to me, and just continuing to follow her journey is just great.
Yes, and she's from Boston too, so I always got that going. That was going to lead me right into what you're doing now, and I was going to start off like, where are you training? Where did you get started? Who got you in the door? Questions like that. So, where do you train, or I guess you're always training. Where did you start training wrestling? No, wait, stop. Hold on, Paislee. Don't let me think. I told you, like, I try to stay on topic. When did you decide in your head? And I might have missed it when I ran around to turn up the audio. So if I missed it, I do apologize. When did you make that decision in your head? Hey, this is something I want to do. I want to be a wrestler.
I think it was really when we were there that at the show that I was just like, you know what? Like, I think I can do that. That looks like a lot of fun. They look like they're having a lot of fun, and I'm all about that. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I can get into it, start trying some stuff. And I knew a couple people, and they kind of helped me out to get into it, to try it out, see if it was something I liked, or if it's something I wanted to do. And then it just kind of never stopped. It just started there and just kept on going.
Do you have a history? Did you play sports in high school? Are you athletic?
So, in school, I was a dancer, so I was a ballerina.
Yeah,
I also did gymnastics, so that helps a lot.
that's what my girls, as I said, I have three, and they always want to practice wrestling moves. And I'm not a wrestler. I never trained. I don't know anything, but I always wrestled with my brothers. So we'll do stuff. And the older one is extremely stiff. Like she can't do anything. She needs to go to Japan and wrestle because she'll just kick you right in the face. The middle one is very good. She can go with you. She can sell. And I was talking to my wife, and I was like, "Kel, this is like a serious thing. Like they may want to like, what should we do with them?" And but they're throw them in gymnastics. They play sports all the time, so they're just too young right now to do any of the training. Anyways, gymnastics that'll get you there. That'll get you where you need to be.
Absolutely, that will definitely help.
So, um, so where did you start off? Where did you start off training? Who got you in the door to wrestling?
So I started training with Ring Wars Carolina. That's out in Hope Mills. So that's where I started. I knew one of the owners, and we just, I had made a joke saying, you know what, I can do that. And he said, why don't you come on out to practice?
Why don't you show me?
And I said, you know what, sure, why not? Let me go out to practice. And so I did. And like I said, I just never stopped from there. I went out one time, and that was it. That's all it took.
That's all it took. What was that feeling that first time you went out there? You went out there and showed that owner. What did it feel like?
Oh, man, I was so excited, but I'm not going to lie, I was super nervous too. I was like, I don't know anything. I'm going to get in here, and I'm just, I got my gymnastics, and that was my thing. I always wanted to land on my feet. No matter what I was doing, I was always trying to land on my feet because that's what we're taught in gymnastics.
Yep, that's right.
So breaking that habit was hard. Otherwise, you're just gonna get hurt.
Yeah, now you got to take that bump. Now you got to fall.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was a game learning how to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because when the older daughter, she'll do her, she'll go off the vault. She'll put her hands on the vault and flip, and she was like, "Well, you can't see me because in the video," but she goes straight over, like straight up, perpendicular, almost like a moonsault. And they're gonna land on their feet. As she gets older, she'll eventually be landing on her feet. But she's younger now, so they do it and they flip over and they land right straight on their back. I'm like, Kelly, we got to stop her now because she's got everything down. She's taking the bump now.
She's good to go. She's got it.
So you get your foot in the door. You go and you show off your skills. You do it. It hits a nerve with you. You love it. You want more. You crave more. You train. You put in the work. When was your first match? In front of people, I guess, because I'm sure you had matches while you were training. Match-ish.
So right now, what I'm doing, I haven't done my first match yet. I'm just doing some ballet stuff and some manager stuff and stuff like that right now as I'm still, training because. Like we said, I did just start, so I'm just training hard to make sure I'm 100% ready before I get out there.
So that's good to know because I was just saying last night with some other wrestling fans that we need more managers and go back to the old school. Everybody had managers or valets as they called them back then, which I don't like using that word, but they did. So where can we see Paislee Ford managing, and who does she manage?
Ooh, that's a good question. So right now I'm kind of in between some things. I'm working on some new stuff. Going different places. So right now you're just gonna have to keep an eye out and follow my Instagram and my Facebook and just kind of figure out where I'm going.
That's right, and you can see those Instagram and Facebooks. They're right below your image, and I think I have a command in here somewhere. Yeah. So have you done? Right now, you're not managing anyone, but have you managed anyone in the past?
So yeah, I was with AC/DC not too long ago, in a show, and they're great. If you haven't heard of them before, they're wonderful to work with. They're wonderful to work for, and I did a little, some work for them. So that was my latest. Who I was with AC/DC.
Nice. Is it Go ahead. Do you have something else to say?
Oh no.
Oh, sorry. So is it tough? because you're still training, you haven't had your first match yet. Is it tough for someone like you right now at this stage to go about getting bookings when all you really have under your belt right now is managerial work?
So honestly, a lot of the promoters are coming to me. They're asking me, what can I do? When will I be ready? Since I'm not quite there yet. So it's kind of a battle because I make sure everybody knows, hey, I'm not wrestling quite yet, but if you need me to manage or you need me to valet or whatever, I can do that. So it's kind of, they come to me with what they need, and I see how I can help them the best.
Yeah, fill their needs. That's good. Because I would think that would be challenging as somebody coming up who's not quite, hasn't been in the ring yet, not quite ready, I guess is the best way to put it, but still wants to go out, get their foot in the door, get their name out there. I would find that challenging and stressful, personally. Me.
I mean, it takes work. You have to be willing to go to these shows, to expect nothing, but just to meet people, to meet the people around your area, all the different promoters, and just get your face out there, be able to talk to them, and really just get to know them as people, and it all just goes from there.
There's a question in the chat from a member of the Busted Open Nation on Sirius Satellite Radio. And it's kind of off topic a little bit, but it goes back to watching wrestling. Is there a favorite women's match maybe that you watch or have gone back to watch often, or at least more than once, to get ideas from?
Honestly, I just kind of I try to watch everybody. Because you have to be unique in your own way, so you can't, just go out there and copy exactly what somebody else is doing. Right. So I just kind of watch everybody. I see what everybody's doing and maybe try and pull a little bit from here and there and just kind of try to make it my own. So I try to watch as much as I can of all the different people, and then just kind of do things a little bit my own way.
Well put. And since you actually haven't had your first match yet, do you have a style of wrestling that you would say? Would you put yourself in a certain style, a certain genre?
I wouldn't say quite yet. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. You guys are going to have to, wait that first match and see what I got going on.
I like that. I do like that a lot. You're working on your character, right? Like,
yeah.
Who is Paislee Ford? The persona. How would you describe her?
Paislee Ford. It's in the song. Have you listened to my theme song? Have you listened to it? I'm super cocky.
I did. I played it. All right, here's what I did. I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. I downloaded it. You sent me the video. I downloaded it. I converted it to MP3 because I wasn't quite sure how to set it up where I could play the audio just from the video without screwing everything up. So I put it in the MP3. I played it once. Yeah, it worked. I stopped it. Then I played it literally right before I called you. The headphones were so loud, but I'll tell you this. It gave me, I did hear a lot of I. Very cockiness. But I couldn't get past that beat. Here, look, I've been quarantined since Friday in this house. I've cut down on my social distancing. I have watched High School Musical, every movie they've ever put out all weekend long. So as soon as I heard that music, I was just like, boom, 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 and I was like, so a cocky. I like that though. Paislee Ford, very cocky. How do you utilize social media to benefit your wrestling?
Well, social media, it gets you out there. So no matter if you're just a manager or you're a big time wrestler, no matter what, it's gonna get so many people to see who you are, and it'll build your career just off of that, quite honestly. And it'll bring so many people in that maybe weren't interested in wrestling, or maybe they didn't quite know about it and they wanted to check it out. So it gives you all those different shows. It tells you a little bit about me. So when they're going there, they feel like they already know me.
Right.
You know, they feel like if it's my first time out there, it's like, well, I've seen Paislee Ford all over the place. I know who she is. And it just builds that connection with between your fans and you, or between anybody. So it gives you that sense of people know who you are, and you know them too. So I think that's a wonderful thing.
I mean, it's changed in today's day and age. Social media is, in my opinion, such a vital aspect of your in-ring work. I mean, it's just as important as your in-ring work, as your mic work. I mean, it's especially for independent wrestlers. That's and people like yourself. That's literally how you get out there. It's like your weekly television show. To tell you the truth, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Without it, I mean, maybe nobody would know who I was. I certainly wouldn't know who you were, and you wouldn't know who I was.
No,
Unless
that's right.
you came out to a show that I was a manager at, then you wouldn't even know who I was without social media. So it's just a wonderful thing today.
Yeah, you're right. It would just be all word of mouth. I'd have to wait like a month for a VHS tape that would show Paislee walking out with AC/DC, and I'd be like, I don't know anything about her. But now I can just scroll through her Twitter or scroll through her Instagram.
You know all about me.
Yeah, it's like I know you. What? We have a nice.
See, exactly. It's like you know me.
Yeah, it's like a conversation. We talked about our kids. I didn't know. I didn't know you had kids. That's pretty cool though, because we can relate in that manner.
I do.
You do, and they're boys, so we can always merge our factions. I got a small faction upstairs. They're just ready to fucking drive me absolutely nuts. Sorry for my language. I tell you, just to break off the beautiful questions I wrote out here. I said this earlier. My school's off a week at the least, and I work at a school for children with autism. I work with all their behaviors, so we're off a week. So that's gonna suck for everyone. My kids are out a week, and my wife is not. So my wife has to go to work still. She's a pharmacist and she works with veterans, and so I'm gonna be home with the kids at least for a week. I made this nice schedule for them of what we're gonna do, and I'm just dreading it. I'll tell you, Paislee, I'm dreading it.
You're gonna see a lot more High School Musical. I can tell you that right now.
I've watched every movie, and you know what?
Just plan on that being every day.
Look. It's sad because I was so excited because Disney Plus released Frozen 2 a little early. Now, we've already seen it, but I was very excited. I was like, girls, let's watch it. We get up. My youngest 3-year-old says, Daddy, can we watch that thing we watched yesterday, that high musical high? And I'm like, oh, my God. We watched every movie. They have a show, and the show is based on a school that is doing a play based on the movie.
That's not right.
No, it's not. It's driving me nuts. I shouldn't be put through this. Anyways, back to wrestling. So what is a day in the life of Paislee Ford, the wrestler, look like? Like if we saw a documentary of you on the WWE network, what's a simple day for you?
A simple day? Oh, let's see. Well, as you know, I have children, so it's waking up and getting them kids. They got to go to school, just like everyone else. So got to make sure lunches are packed, make sure they're ready for school, and then right after that, I drop my youngest off because I have to take him to school. Drop him off at school, and then I go straight to the gym. I'm at the gym for a little while. Relax, kind of enjoy my day the best I can. There's wrestling practice, of course, that's in the evening time. So gym, hang out, do day-to-day stuff, dinner, practice, showers, and bed. It's pretty much it every day.
That's pretty much it. Simple life, right? Simple life. Has this how do I want to put this? Has what's happening in the world, this coronavirus impact, affected your strive towards Paislee Ford wrestling? Has it had an impact on you yet?
it has, as far as, of course, some of our gatherings. We can't, they put it out that they don't want the gatherings of more than 100 people, while schools are closed and all that stuff. So it has affected some of our shows. Some of our shows have been canceled or postponed until, further notice. So it's affected in that way. But luckily, our training, I don't have 200 people there. So we can still do that. I can still train. My gym is still open. I can still go to the gym. So it hasn't affected me in that aspect. It just gives me more time to be able to train versus, having some shows. So that's the only little thing that is kind of affected right there.
Because I think it just the CDC just put out, now it's down to no gatherings over 50 people.
Oh, geez. See, that's even
it's even worse.
Soon we're all going to be told that we have to stay inside our house and we're not allowed to leave. And then all that toilet paper is going to come in handy for everybody.
Hey, I'm not worried about it, man. I live in a house with 4 women. And I am always stocked up on toilet paper. Always.
You're good to go then.
I am good to go. Yeah, so I just read that, and you got WrestleMania coming up, and that's probably going to get either postponed or canceled. But that actually has such a big impact on the independent wrestling scene, because there's so many shows around that weekend. It's going to affect everybody, and who knows for how long. And all the people like yourself and all these other independent wrestlers, it's going to be tough just to get money income.
That's true. Yeah. So that's tough. But no one can do anything really. There's nothing we can do about it. Or just wait and hope that, this leaves as quickly as it came.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. If there is a benefit, at least from my point of view, at least now my mother-in-law can't really come down and visit me because she is older, and she just can't be around me. Social distancing, I said to her, can't come down. Anyway, it's not really funny to joke about, but laughter is the best medicine. Anyways, moving along. So I'm trying, Paislee,
Get yourself in trouble.
I know. I better not. I'll just edit that part out or something. I'll delete it. So I'm just delete. Anyways, as far as wrestling goes, what's your 5-year plan? I sometimes I say to people, where do you see yourself in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? I'm just gonna go straight out. What is your 5-year plan, as far as wrestling goes?
Oh, in 5 years. Everybody has the dream, the goal to be the big star, and that's of course, that's true, but you have to take it a day at a time, a year at a time. And I have to, train, and I have to really be comfortable, and I want everyone, to know who I am, and I want to have the best training that I possibly can have, anywhere I go. So it's really just, seeing how I can progress and who I can meet along the way to see where I'm going to go from here. So of course everybody has the big dreams, and I do too, but you just don't know. You can't put a time on it. It just, when you're ready, and it'll happen. I firmly believe that it will happen if it's meant to be.
If it is meant to be. Now you said something in there that made me think of another question that I have written down. Do you feel you're ready for your first match? Do you feel like you could get in the ring right now?
Right this second, I would have to say no. I'm not ready yet for my first match.
I like that honesty.
It's the truth. I know I'm not ready.
Good.
Certainly don't want to get hurt or anything like that. So, and ask me again in a month, and that answer will probably be very different. But for right now, I can honestly say not quite yet to get in there to wrestle.
That's good. I like that. I like that honesty though, because you're right. If you jumped in, if you were took advice from your character and were cocky, jumped in the ring, you would get hurt.
Exactly. So, and don't want that.
So take it one day at a time. Everybody wants to be on the big stage, the WWEs, the AEWs, those things, the MLW, all that. Take it one day at a time. I like it. Do you keep up with today's product now? I mean, I'm sure you said you had kids. You had sons. They keep up with the product, right?
They do. And I tell you what, wrestling is on every day in my house. It's always on. I swear they're either watching it on their phones, they're watching the replays of everything, or one kid's watching one thing and the other kid's watching another, and then it's on my TV and it's just everywhere.
I tell you, I relate so much with that.
Everywhere.
because I watch it all the time, and my kids will watch it. My daughters will if it's on. But it's so funny. We shot this video once, which I've done nothing with it yet, but it was funny video. They come up to Dad and it will say Monday, and they say, Dad, can we go outside and swing or something like that? And I'll say, no, Raw's on. And then it is shoot to Tuesday. Dad, can we go ride our bikes? No, NWA Power's on. And it would do that for the whole week. And then finally, every day. And then finally there would be, I forgot what we did. It was like one day it was like, Dad, can we watch NXT TakeOver? And I'll say yes. And then we called it Parenting 316. So, anyways, I can definitely relate to that. Do you have a favorite promotion right now?
You know what? I kind of just watch everything, and I kind of, I keep my options open. I like everything, and I'm not going to put a favorite on just one.
I don't either. It changes. For me, it changes like every week. Like one week I might like hell I might like SmackDown. One week I might like MLW right now. I love, first of all. That is what I'm really high on, and that's on Saturdays at 6 on YouTube. But I don't know what we're going to get out of these promotions in the next month or so, because a lot of
empty audiences again.
What's that?
A lot of empty audiences.
A lot. I mean, the only ones that I think could put on shows. WWE obviously can. They have the Performance Center, which we saw this last Friday, and we'll see tomorrow. AEW is going to be able to do it. NWA probably could put on a show with no audience, because they probably have things already in the bag. They're taped. So they could tape shows with no audience. It's going to be tough. Did you catch Friday night SmackDown with the no audience this Friday?
I did watch some of it, and we were all watching it, all sitting in the living room. And it was very interesting. It was very interesting with no audience.
It was weird, right?
Sure. It was a little weird.
It was, and I hadn't seen wrestling in front of no audience since a long time ago, when The Rock fought Mankind in front of, I might have been, now someone don't fact check me on this, but it might have been the halftime of a Super Bowl where they fought in an empty arena. And so I watched it, and it was weird, but I liked it. And I think I can't tell if I liked it because it was different. And could I do week after week of that? Like, it was very different. But it showed the talent that it takes to to get in the ring, to cut those promos, to do that when nobody's there. And that must be what training's like. I mean, that's what you got to do.
Exactly. And, I made that comment on Friday. I was like, it's almost like they're training right now because no one's there. And that is how training is. You still have to get the audience involved, even if there's no people there.
That's right.
So it was very much like training.
Engage the audience when there's no audience. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have to.
You do. Oh, man. Did your kids like it?
They did. They kind of thought the same thing, that it was different. It was very different. We'll say that.
Yeah.
But hey, they watched it, so.
It was fun. Where do I want to go from here? All right, I'll let me see. We'll go on. I got a 2-part question.
Okay.
I want you to put yourself. You're ready. You're ready to wrestle. You're ready to get in the ring. I want you to pick one past wrestler to get in the ring with and one current wrestler to get in the ring with.
Let me think about it. For a past wrestler.
Now, see, you got into your love of wrestling later in life.
I did.
So your past wrestler may be a current wrestler.
That's fair.
So you could skate by on this one. You could kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm going to have to. So I would say, and I kind of touched on this earlier because she trained at the same place that, that I've trained at Ring Wars. So I would have to say Sasha Banks. I'd have to. Because like I said, we started at the same place, maybe not at the same time. But I would have to.
So
That's who it would have to be.
Get in the ring with the boss. That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good. So
show them how cocky I am.
Yeah. She'd probably end up taking you under her wing and then just turning on you.
Probably.
But
hey, I'd be there for a little while.
Yeah, why not, right?
Absolutely. Learn as much as you can from everybody.
Just take. Absorb.
Yes.
That's how I do it. I've burned through my questions. I've thoroughly enjoyed. I never keep anybody over an hour. We're coming up on at least 40 minutes. I don't know. Somebody changed my watch to military time, so I can't really tell. Exactly.
You just gotta pay attention to the minutes.
I just gotta guess. So is there any questions you would like to ask me?
Any questions I'd like to ask you?
Yeah.
Who was your favorite? Yeah, let's do this. Who was your favorite person to interview and why?
Oh, who was my favorite person to interview and why? Well, obviously Paislee Ford. Because
okay, well, let's say before Paislee Ford.
Oh shit. My favorite person to interview and why? My favorite person to interview or my favorite interview? Because those could be different.
Okay. Well, we'll do your favorite interview first.
All right. My favorite interview was a recent one I had with Dave LaGreca, the host of Busted Open Radio. He hosts Busted Open Radio, which is a national wrestling talk show on Sirius. He finally came around to doing it. We did it. It was a call-in. He called in from his phone, which I had to pull so many strings to figure out how to do. But it was my favorite interview because, I mean, I could have talked with him for hours. We're about the same age. We watch the same stuff. I listen to him every day and follow him on social media, so it felt like I knew him. I've met him before. That had to be my favorite interview that I did. And my favorite interview to do, like one I was really excited to do, would have to be the first one. Because I used to stream. I used to be on Twitch, and I used to stream video games and wrestling video games. I played FIFA. I did all sorts of things. And I went to PAX East, which was in Boston, and I met these guys there. They do, it's right here. They do Smack Talk Showdown. It's a wrestling party card game. It's about cutting promos, basically. And I watched them put on their demo, and I was like, oh, man, that's a great card game, and I love it. And so I made contact with them, and I mean, we're not really interviewing me, but I used to host a talk show for streamers at night, so I was already in the interview scene. But that show had ended. That had been done. So I was like, it all kind of was like kismet. It was like, oh, I already do this hosting thing, this interviewing thing. I love wrestling. They got a great wrestling card game. Let me just reach out to him and see if he'd be up for doing it. So I found him. I literally passed him at like the food court section in Boston at the convention center. And I was flat out and said, I'm going to contact you on Twitter to see if you want to talk about your game and do an interview. And he was the first one. He was all about it. We did a show, probably an hour and 40 minutes on his game, on wrestling, on promos. And hell, that might have been, I don't know. It was something I really looked forward to doing because it just kicked everything off. You know what I mean? It's just,
Absolutely.
and I mean, there's so many. I was really excited when Izzy did the show because my kids look up to her. So that was always a good one. Yeah, I don't know. Thunder Rosa was great. Brian Pillman was great. But La Greca was my favorite, and the first one had to be the one I was most excited to do.
Awesome. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Cool.
But yeah, so I think we've burned through our stuff. I think I've learned a lot about you. I've learned a lot, and I'm excited. You know what's really makes me excited to learn about you is that your kids got you into wrestling, and I'm trying to get my kids into wrestling. Like, I think that's great. Do you mind if I ask how old your kids are?
I have 4. I have 13. I have 11. I have 5, and I have a 3-year-old who is about to be 4. So, and they're all boys.
And
all
they're
4 of them.
all boys.
They're
Holy
all boys.
Crap!
Yes.
What's that like? Can I ask you what that's like?
Well, you know what? I grew up a little bit about me. I did grow up with boys, so I have 3 older brothers.
Okay.
So I was just destined to have boys, and now I have 4 of them.
So you're probably used to being around boys, like.
Yes, very,
Right.
very much so. Very much so. So yeah, but my 13-year-old man, he, I think he's my biggest supporter. Honestly, he got me into it.
He's
He
at
loves
that age.
it.
Yeah, he's at that age, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you, I think that both the 13 and 11, I think both of them, they're gonna get into it too, and it won't be long before you see all of them.
Yeah,
They're all gonna be out there.
They can be your faction. You can manage them. You can cut promos for them and
there you
everything.
go. They might be the next tag team champ.
That's right.
You never know. And I'm their manager.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Keep your eye out. You never know. They got to get a little bit older first, but
That's right.
they got it.
That's awesome. That's great. And hell, let's end on that. You know, I wasn't going to keep you any more than an hour, but what I do at the end of every show, this is putting you over. The mic is yours. The floor is yours. You can promote. You can plug anything you want. Go ahead, Paislee.
All right. Well, first, obviously, check out me on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram. Paislee Ford Wrestling. Come find me. And thank you for everything and for everyone. And of course, big shout outs to all 4 of my children, Aiden, Landon, Jackson, and Austin. My biggest supporters, of course. And thanks everybody for watching.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Big shout out to your boys too. Maybe they'll meet my kids someday.
Oh, maybe.
All right.
I'll have a get together.
Yeah. When we can. Have a great night and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I had a blast. I hope people enjoyed that.
This guy's called the Standing Streamer. I got the balls to say things that nobody else has the balls to say. The champ is here! Real stand-up kind of guy.
Hey everybody, Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret, and you're watching Putting You Over.